Hello, in this video we will discuss about the posterior lobe of pituitary gland, which that is involved the two hormone secretion, antidiuretic hormone and oxytocin. So let's begin to understand first the antidiuretic hormone. So before both hormone understanding, we will understand the here is the hypothalamus and pituitary gland contain adenohypophysis and neurohypophysis. So in this way, the antidiuretic hormone and oxytocin involve the production from the neurohypophysis. And neurohypophysis mean this is the posterior pituitary gland, which that is the neurosecretory cell directly uh, add the secretion add the hormone into the blood circulatory system, while adenohypophysis is the indirectly. Here you can see when bound with the pituitary gland containing cell, a receptor will trigger to produce so the neuroendocrine system, while here is the neurosecretory cell, which that is the neurosecretion to move, and the endocrine hormone, which that is directly release oxytocin and antidiuretic hormone. So let's begin to understand that when the antidiuretic hormone, when the volume of the blood decrease, blood pressure also decrease. It means the volume of the blood pressure. Why? Because the decrease of the water. And antidiuretic hormone release within the response with the response of low water in blood. When decrease osmolarity in blood vessel. Osmolarity mean the concentration of the sodium will be increased while the concentration of the water will be decreased, for example. So here is the sodium when increased, so the sodium decrease, so the water will increase, will lead to antidiuretic hormone. When the water will be decreased, so the sodium will increase, will lead to basically trigger the antidiuretic hormone through a hypothalamus to the pituitary gland. So here is the kidney, which that contain ureter and the adrenal gland, and antidiuretic hormone will bind with the kidney cell, which that is the nephron. So the nephron is the urinary system unit of the urinary system, which contain afferent arteriole, which that is blood move toward the glomerulus via here is the Bowman capsule and glomerulus, and the efferent artery make a vasa recta for reabsorption of water and sodium as well as potassium and calcium and other waste product which that is useful. So here is the proximal convoluted tubule and descending loop of Henle and ascending loop of Henle, and the distal convoluted tubule and the collecting duct. So here is the sodium will be reabsorbed, and sodium increase in the blood, and water will absorb 90% from this region, the proximal convoluted tubule. But the water requirement should be more into the blood because the blood volume will be decreased due to the water less. So here is the sodium will enter, and here you can see this the aquaporin 2 channel creation, which that will lead, due to the antidiuretic hormone will reabsorb the water, and water follow the sodium. So the sodium when absorbed into the blood circulatory system, so the increase of the sodium will lead to absorb more water through aquaporin channel in the distal convoluted tubule. So here you can see this is a reabsorption from into the vasa recta, and this is the urine in the lumen of the distal convoluted tubule. So this is the channel creation, how it's produced. Aquaporin 2 receptor, which that is basically bound with the antidiuretic hormone, and after this trigger the aquaporin channel inside to the vesicle, which that is contain a tetrad of channel, which that is bound with the membrane both side will lead to reabsorption of water from the lumen into the vasa recta. So let's begin to understand. Here is the antidiuretic hormone balance the blood pressure by the allow to water uptake into the blood, and sodium increase in the blood will decrease the water potential in the blood. So in the nephron, water follow the sodium concentration. When the sodium uptake first, then the water reabsorbed through aquaporin channel creation through antidiuretic hormone by creation through antidiuretic hormone. So in this way, this will lead to regulation of the blood pressure. So the antidiuretic hormone is important for the regulation of blood pressure. When the decrease of the blood pressure will lead to absorption of water, due to the sodium absorption will lead to again increase the blood pressure. While when the high blood pressure means the antidiuretic hormone will not release. In this way, the water will be excreted from the urine. So I hope you make sense about that. So the antidiuretic hormone is important for the blood pressure regulation, while the oxytocin, let's begin to understand. So oxytocin is the hormone released for parturition during the labor pain in the female, and activation of mammary gland to milk ejection through mammary lobules. And oxytocin released during labor pain to decrease pain is known as the painkiller. So that is why it is known as painkiller. And oxytocin release long term between male and female pair bonding relationship is known as the care hormone. So remember, the male also contain oxytocin, which that is used for the vasodilation or vasoconstriction also. Due after the basically is the due to the uh, uh, long-term relationship will lead to oxytocin continuously produce for the pair bonding. So important thing is that the oxytocin play important role in the female more as compared to the male. So that is why let's begin to understand after the basically is the during the labor pain after before the delivery of the baby. So the parturition will lead to trigger the brain higher brain cortex for the secretion through a hypothalamus stimulation to release the oxytocin into the blood circulatory system, which that will target to the uterine wall for the contraction and relaxation. And in this way here you can see this is the basically trigger, and in this way the pain also decrease due to the production of oxytocin. So in this way here you can see this is the basically the positive feedback. In this way the more contraction will be occur due to the positive feedback and release more oxytocin, and rushing of the more oxytocin into the blood circulatory system will lead to a decrease the pain and parturition will be increased, and in this way the immediate contraction and vasoconstriction and vasodilation in the uterus, which that is peristaltic moves, will lead to expelling of the baby from the uterus into the outside. So this will lead to pair bonding during this, and before the birth pair bonding is also created, and that is why the female will love to their baby. So here is you can see this is the after the delivery. This is the hungry baby. Crying will lead to trigger the higher brain cortex of the mother, which that will lead to produce more oxytocin, will target to the mammary gland for activation of the mammary lobule in the mammary gland for activation of mammary gland to lactation of milk, and in this way the positive feedback will be occur. And when the baby will cry and the female will hold due to the oxytocin production for care, and in this way you can see the milk ejection for hungry suckling, which that means the after this the oxytocin will release more for the relaxation of the duct of the mammary gland, will lead to basically the milk ejection for hungry suckling, and in this way the pair bonding will increase more after each lactation of milk, after each serving. So thanks for watching. Please make sure to subscribe. This was the video about posterior lobe of pituitary gland.